Here are Grandma's 31 oddly useful cooking hacks you'll wish you knew sooner. Pour beer into stew to make the meat less shy. Grandma had a funny way of saying it, but she wasn't wrong. A little beer makes the meat less shy. What she meant was that beer, especially darker types like stouts or ambers, helps tenderize tough cuts while adding a deep, malty flavor. After searing your beef or pork, pour in about half a cup of beer before adding your stock or water. Let it simmer slowly, and you'll notice the meat become more tender and flavorful over time. The alcohol evaporates during cooking, leaving behind a warm, rich essence that deepens the whole pot. It's perfect for soups, stews, and braises. Once the pot is bubbling and savory, your vegetables need attention too, especially if you want to keep them looking as good as they taste. Cook green veggies uncovered. Grandma always insisted on boiling her green veggies with the lid off, and here's why. When boiling broccoli, peas, or beans, covering the pot traps acids that react with chlorophyll, turning those greens an unappetizing gray. By leaving the lid off, these acids escape with the steam, preserving the vegetable's bright, vibrant color. Start with a large pot of well-salted water, bring it to a rolling boil, and cook your greens just until tender, usually around 2 to 4 minutes. Then transfer them to an ice bath to stop the cooking and lock in color and texture. This blanch and shock technique keeps vegetables crisp, green, and beautiful. It's a small tweak that makes a big visual and textural difference. Once the greens are chilled and vibrant, let's talk about elevating corn to creamy, sweet perfection. Boil corn with a splash of milk and sugar. Do you want your corn on the cob to taste like summer, even in the off-season? Add milk and sugar to the water. Fill a pot with water, bring it to a boil, and stir in a quarter cup of milk and a teaspoon of sugar before dropping in your corn. Boil uncovered for 5 to 7 minutes. The milk makes the kernels extra creamy, and the sugar subtly enhances the corn's natural sweetness without overpowering it. This trick is ideal when using store-bought corn that needs a flavor boost. Don't add salt, it can toughen the kernels. When done, your corn will be tender, juicy, and packed with flavor. Serve hot with butter or herbs. And while the corn's cooking, take a second look at your rice pot. What's left there might just become your new gravy go-to. Save rice water to make gravy. Rice water is an underrated secret for thickening gravy naturally. When cooking rice, the starch that leaches into the water acts as a gentle thickener. Before it's fully absorbed, scoop out a cup and save it. Later, when making gravy, add the rice water to your pan drippings or broth and whisk continuously over low heat. It smooths out the mixture without needing flour or cornstarch. The subtle, starchy liquid gives gravies a light body and slightly nutty flavor. It's especially useful for gluten-free cooking or when you want to avoid heavy sauces. Plus, it makes good use of something you'd normally toss. Next time rice is on the stove, keep a jar nearby. And when it's time to build tomato-based flavor, one quick technique can elevate any sauce with little effort. Brown tomato paste before adding it to sauces. Tomato paste can do more than just add color. It can unlock deep flavor when you brown it first. Before adding any liquid, scoop a tablespoon or 2 of paste into a hot pan with oil and stir it constantly for 2 to 3 minutes. It will darken to a rich, brick red color and release a deep, savory aroma. This caramelizes the natural sugars in the paste, giving your sauce a richer, more complex flavor base. It's an easy way to build depth into quick sauces like marinara, chili, or tomato soup. After browning, add your onions, garlic, or broth to continue cooking. This step might seem small, but it transforms canned tomato paste into something bold and layered. It's a restaurant-worthy move made right in your home kitchen, no long simmering needed. Heat cinnamon in skillet for unwanted kitchen smells. If your kitchen smells like last night's fish fry or burnt toast, cinnamon is your natural fix. Toss a few cinnamon sticks into a dry skillet and heat on medium-low for 3 to 5 minutes. As the sticks warm, they release their essential oils, filling the room with a sweet, spicy aroma that quickly overpowers lingering odors. You can also add a few cloves or orange peel for extra warmth. Unlike air sprays, this method doesn't mask odors. It replaces them. It's ideal after frying, roasting, or anything smoky. Let it simmer a bit, then turn off the heat and enjoy the freshness. Now that your kitchen smells like dessert, here's an unexpected but cozy southern comfort trick. Cornbread in milk with raw red onion. This old-school southern comfort bowl is more than it sounds. Take leftover cornbread, crumble it into a bowl, and pour in cold milk, enough to soak it but not turn it to mush. Top it with thinly sliced raw red onion for bite and balance. The sweetness of the cornbread, the creaminess of the milk, and the sharpness of the onion create a surprising, satisfying spoonful. It's humble and hearty, often enjoyed as a late-night snack or quick lunch. Use buttermilk instead of regular milk for added tang. A sprinkle of black pepper adds a little kick. It's simple, honest food that makes use of leftovers. Now, if you're craving something with a bit more fire, try this next bold addition. Drop in harissa paste to spice up meatballs, eggs, or fish marinades. Harissa isn't just for North African dishes. It's a flavor bomb that adds smoky heat to everyday meals. To make harissa paste at home, roast 3 red bell peppers and soak 4 dried chilies until soft. Blend with 4 garlic cloves, 1 teaspoon cumin, 1 teaspoon coriander, a pinch of salt, olive oil, and lemon juice until smooth. Store in a jar with olive oil on top. Stir a teaspoon into meatball mix, scrambled eggs, or a marinade for fish. Its blend of roasted red peppers, chili, garlic, and spices gives depth without overwhelming the dish. For meatballs, mix it into the ground meat along with breadcrumbs and herbs. For eggs, whisk it into your scramble or swirl it through right at the end. In marinades, combine it with lemon juice, olive oil, and garlic. It instantly elevates even plain proteins. Just a little goes a long way. Once your meal's packing heat, don't forget to round out the flavor. One surprising sauce can bring savory depth in seconds. Add soy sauce to gravy towards the end. Soy sauce might not be traditional in your gravy, but it works like magic. Add a splash at the end of cooking, about a teaspoon per cup of liquid, and stir well. It won't make your gravy taste like soy sauce. Instead, it deepens the savory notes with umami, giving it a richer, more rounded flavor. It's especially good in gravies made from beef drippings or roasted vegetables. Add slowly, taste as you go, and skip the extra salt. Soy brings plenty. It also adds a glossy sheen. This is a quick, effortless trick to make pan sauce taste restaurant-worthy. And once your gravy's tasting perfect, try upgrading your aromatics. Fresh is best, and 1 leaf makes all the difference. Toss in fresh bay leaves instead of dried for stronger aroma. If you've only used dried bay leaves, you're missing out on the bold, eucalyptus-like punch that fresh ones bring. When simmering soups, stews, or sauces, drop in 1 or 2 fresh bay leaves early in the process. The oils in fresh leaves release slowly as they heat, giving a brighter, woodsy aroma that's more noticeable than the dried version. Simmer for at least 30 minutes, then remove before serving. You'll notice the depth instantly. Store fresh leaves in the freezer if you can't use them all right away. They hold their potency for months. Just don't overdo it. Bay leaves are strong. With your pot now perfumed with garden fresh aroma, your next step might be a quick swirl of another pantry favorite. Add bay leaf to heavy cream-based desserts. Bay leaf isn't just for soups, it shines in desserts too. When making custards, ice cream bases, or panna cotta, add 1 fresh bay leaf to your heavy cream while heating. Simmer gently, then remove before chilling or setting. The bay's slightly floral, herbal aroma cuts through the richness of cream, adding depth and balance without tasting like soup. It pairs especially well with vanilla, citrus, and caramel. You can steep it in milk, cream, or even a sweet sauce. Just 1 leaf is enough. Too many can overpower. It's subtle but unforgettable. While your dessert chills to perfection, shift gears and prep those sausages for the grill without losing their juiciness. Boil sausages before grilling to prevent shrinkage. If your sausages shrivel on the grill, try this trick. Boil them first. Place sausages in a saucepan, cover with water, and simmer gently for 5 to 8 minutes. Don't boil aggressively. This cooks them through evenly, rendering some fat and reducing the chance of bursting or shrinking. After simmering, pat them dry and finish them on the grill to get that golden, crispy casing. Boiling also removes excess salt and makes them easier to digest. This method works for brats, Italian sausage, or any thick links. The result: plump, juicy, evenly cooked sausages that don't split or shrivel. With those sizzling perfectly, Take a moment for some good old-fashioned wisdom from the pantry, especially during certain times. Avoid canning pork during a period. Grandma used to say, never can pork during your cycle. While not scientifically proven, it was a rule she followed strictly. The belief was that during a woman's period, fluctuations in body chemistry could affect fermentation or preservation. Many old-timers swore jars sealed during that time would fail or spoil faster. Whether it was folklore or superstition, Grandma didn't take chances. She'd always plan her big canning days accordingly, especially for meats like pork or sausage. Even if modern science dismisses it, some traditions stick for good reason. While your jars cool and seal, let's move back to the stove, where bright vegetables deserve to stay that way. Add lemon juice to cauliflower water to preserve its white color. Cauliflower tends to turn gray when boiled, but lemon juice keeps it bright. Fill a pot with water, then squeeze in the juice of half a lemon before adding your cauliflower florets. Boil as usual, about 5 to 7 minutes. The acid prevents oxidation and helps the cauliflower maintain its fresh, white appearance. It also adds a very light, clean note to the flavor. Don't add too much or the flavor will overpower the dish. A splash is enough. This trick works well for any pale vegetables like parsnips or turnips too. Now that your veggies are vibrant, give your morning oats the same golden glow with a quick oven kiss. Toast oatmeal in the oven before cooking it. Toasting oats before cooking gives your oatmeal a deep, nutty flavor. Spread rolled oats on a baking sheet in a thin layer and bake at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for 8 to 10 minutes, stirring halfway through. They'll turn slightly golden and smell fragrant. Then cook them as usual with water or milk. The toasting process enhances their natural sugars and makes for a richer, more textured bowl. This step is especially great for overnight oats or granola bases. Let them cool before storing if you're making a big batch. Use turkey livers and giblets as cornbread stuffing. Grandma never wasted a thing, especially not the turkey giblets. When making cornbread stuffing, she'd finely chop the liver, heart, and gizzard, sauté them with onions and celery and butter, and fold them into crumbled cornbread. These rich bits added an earthy depth and meaty texture to the dressing that no store-bought broth could replicate. Season with sage, thyme, black pepper, and a splash of turkey drippings for maximum flavor. The giblets, especially the liver, melt into the stuffing, enriching every bite without overpowering it. Grandma said, if it came with the bird, it belongs in the pan. Once your stuffing is golden and aromatic, consider a more modern flavor booster, subtle, savory, and surprisingly versatile. Add white miso paste to dishes for subtle umami. White miso paste isn't just for soup, it adds gentle umami and creamy saltiness to all kinds of dishes. Stir a spoonful into mashed potatoes, dressings, or even pasta sauces. Whisk it into broth, spread it on toast with butter, or blend into compound butter for vegetables. It's made from fermented soybeans and rice, but its flavor is mild, sweet savory, and not overpowering like red miso. Add it at the end of cooking to preserve its complex taste. It deepens the flavor without making the dish taste miso-y. A little goes a long way. Next time you're stirring up cheese sauce or burger mix, take another tip straight from Grandma's pantry playbook. Add tomato paste to mac and cheese and burgers for deep flavor. Grandma had a habit of stirring tomato paste into things you wouldn't expect, like mac and cheese or burger patties. Turns out she was onto something. A spoonful of tomato paste adds richness, acidity, and umami, especially when browned in butter or oil before mixing. For mac and cheese, stir it into the roux or cheese sauce for a tangy, golden orange upgrade. In burgers, mix it right into the ground meat with salt, pepper, and worcestershire for deeper flavor. Always brown it first to caramelize the sugars and bring out its savory bite. Grandma said, it makes cheese cheesier and beef beefier. For real tomato intensity, consider one more trick. Just dry it out. Make tomato powder by dehydrating and crushing tomatoes. Tomato powder is an easy way to add concentrated tomato flavor to any dish without opening a can. To make it, slice fresh tomatoes thinly and lay them on a dehydrator tray or baking sheet. Dry at low heat, about 200 degrees Fahrenheit, for several hours until completely crisp. Then grind them into a fine powder using a spice grinder or mortar and pestle. Store in a sealed jar away from light. Sprinkle it into soups, sauces, marinades, or even over popcorn. It adds pure tomato intensity without the liquid. It's a great way to preserve summer tomatoes too. Once your powder is stored and ready, bring out your morning coffee. It's time for a surprisingly smooth twist. Crush eggshells into coffee grounds for a smoother brew. A pinch of crushed eggshells in your coffee grounds can reduce bitterness and give you a smoother cup. Eggshells are alkaline and help neutralize some of the natural acidity in coffee, especially dark roasts or over-extracted brews. First, rinse and dry the shells, then crush them finely. Add about half a teaspoon to your grounds before brewing in a drip machine, French press, or percolator. The result is a less sharp, more balanced flavor without changing the aroma. It's an old cowboy trick that still holds up today. Plus, the leftover grounds and shells are great for your compost. Just one more way to use what you've got and make every cup count. Sprinkle MSG into savory dishes for extra punch. MSG or monosodium glutamate gets a bad rap, but it's simply a concentrated form of umami or the savory fifth taste. A light sprinkle, about a quarter teaspoon, into soups, stews, gravies, or stir-fries enhances the natural flavors without adding extra salt. It works especially well in broths, meat rubs, and veggie sautés. Add it near the end of cooking for the best effect. MSG is flavor neutral on its own, but once it hits your tongue, it brings out richness and depth. Just don't overdo it. A little goes a long way. It's a secret ingredient in many commercial kitchens, and for good reason. If your dish tastes flat, a pinch of MSG might be all it needs. Use fish sauce in sauces, burgers, and meatloaf. Fish sauce isn't just for Asian recipes. It's a secret weapon for boosting umami in everyday dishes. Add a splash, about a teaspoon, into pasta sauces, meatloaf mix, burgers, or chili. It adds depth and savory richness, not fishiness, especially when used sparingly. Mix it into tomato-based sauces for extra complexity, or stir it into soups and gravies. It's made from fermented anchovies and salt, but the flavor transforms when cooked with other ingredients. You won't taste fish, just something mysteriously delicious. Think of it as liquid anchovy essence, powerful and subtle. Once you've tried it in unexpected places, you might start reaching for it like soy sauce. And speaking of anchovies, there's another classic dish where they truly belong. Chop anchovies into Caesar salad for authentic flavor. If your Caesar dressing doesn't include anchovies, it's missing the real deal. Finely chop 1 or 2 oil-packed anchovy fillets and mash them into a paste with garlic and lemon juice. Whisk with Dijon mustard, egg yolk or mayo, and olive oil. Anchovies bring bold umami and briny depth that defines traditional Caesar dressing. When chopped finely, they melt into the mix without any noticeable fishy taste, just richness. For extra punch, add some grated Parmesan and cracked black pepper, tossed with crisp romaine and crunchy croutons. The anchovies add that restaurant-level flavor you can't quite place, but always crave. Now let's bring that same subtle magic to a starchy classic, mashed potatoes. Sprinkle nutmeg into mashed potatoes. A pinch of ground nutmeg in mashed potatoes adds a gentle warmth that enhances creamy textures. After mashing your potatoes with butter, milk, or cream, sprinkle in just a pinch, no more than 1/8 teaspoon, stir thoroughly, and taste. The nutmeg brings a light, nutty aroma that pairs beautifully with rich dairy and savory seasonings. It's especially good in holiday spreads or alongside roasted meats. The key is subtlety. You're not aiming for sweetness, just an aromatic depth that lingers in the background. It also works well with Parmesan, chives, or garlic blends. Once your potatoes are perfectly fluffed and seasoned, turn to another time-tested flavor booster that works even while it roasts. Stick whole cloves into an onion before roasting. For an aromatic boost in roasts, soups, or stocks, try this old culinary trick. Press whole cloves into a peeled onion, then drop it into the pot. As the dish cooks, the cloves release warm, spiced undertones without overpowering the main ingredients. It's especially good in braised beef, poultry, or root vegetable dishes. Stud the onion with 6 to 8 cloves, spacing them evenly. Roast the onion whole or add it to simmering broths. The flavor is subtle, but adds unexpected dimension. Just remember to remove the onion and cloves before serving. It's a hands-off way to infuse deep flavor, and your kitchen will smell incredible while it works. Use pickle juice in potato salad. Grandma never threw out pickle juice, and with good reason. After boiling and cubing potatoes, she'd drizzle a few tablespoons of dill pickle brine over them while still warm. The brine soaks in, adding a tangy, salty flavor that gives the salad depth before you even add mayo or mustard. It replaces vinegar and gives the salad a distinct sharpness without overpowering the other ingredients. Try it with finely chopped pickles, red onion, and hard-boiled eggs for that classic flavor with an edge. It also helps balance the richness of mayonnaise. Once you try it, you'll see why Grandma swore by it. Now that the salad's singing, let's thicken soup without flour or cream, just with a spoonful of something humble. Thicken soup with oatmeal. Need to thicken a soup or stew without flour or cornstarch? Stir in a few tablespoons of rolled oats while it simmers. They'll absorb liquid, soften, and break down slightly, thickening the broth and adding subtle creaminess without altering the flavor much. Add them early in the cooking process and stir often to prevent sticking. Use about 1 tablespoon per cup of broth as a general rule. Great in veggie, lentil, or tomato-based soups, this trick adds fiber and nutrition too. Oats are inexpensive, shelf-stable, and completely neutral in taste. It's a smart, quiet upgrade. Once your soup's cozy and hearty, consider the next layer of depth. 1 drop of this sauce does wonders. Add Worcestershire sauce to ragu and stews for depth. Worcestershire sauce is your shortcut to slow-cooked richness, even when dinner's on a deadline. Stir in a teaspoon or 2 into simmering ragu, beef stew, or lentil chili for extra umami and complexity. It's a fermented blend of anchovies, vinegar, tamarind, and spices, perfect for deepening tomato-based dishes or boosting beefy flavor. Add it mid-cook so it melds with the other ingredients. It adds a little tang, a bit of salt, and a whole lot of depth. It's especially handy when you're out of anchovy paste or fish sauce. A few dashes are all you need. Once the stew is rich and bold, reach for a leafy veggie that needs a little prep, but not without a wise touch. Rub cabbage with salt and let it cry. Grandma used to say, let the cabbage cry before you dress it. Before making slaw or fermented kraut, sprinkle shredded cabbage with a generous pinch of salt and massage it firmly for a few minutes. Then let it sit for 20 minutes. This draws out moisture, softens the leaves, and seasons the cabbage from the inside out. It also reduces bitterness and makes the texture tender but crisp. After it weeps, squeeze out the excess liquid before dressing or packing into jars. This trick brings out the natural sweetness and prevents watery slaw. It's a simple, forgotten step that makes all the difference. And when it comes to richness in sauces, there's one soy sauce that stands above the rest. Use dark mushroom soy sauce for extra richness in sauces. Mushroom soy sauce is the secret weapon for adding bold, earthy flavor to stir-fries, gravies, and stews. It's darker, thicker, and more intense than regular soy sauce. Infused with mushroom essence for that extra hit of umami. Add a teaspoon or 2 toward the end of cooking to boost depth, color, and complexity without making the dish taste like mushrooms. It's excellent in braised meats, noodle dishes, and savory glazes. A little goes a long way, so use it sparingly. It also adds a rich brown sheen to sauces. Once you've added it, give your onions some extra attention. There's a painless way to prep them that doesn't bring tears. Peel onions under running water. To keep the tears at bay, peel and cut onions under cold running water. The water washes away the sulfuric compounds that are released when onion cells break. These are what irritate your eyes. Cut off the ends, score the skin, and peel under a slow stream. You can also cut them in half and rinse the cut sides before chopping. The water keeps the volatile gases from reaching your eyes and also helps loosen the skin. For extra protection, chill the onion in the fridge beforehand. It's a simple kitchen fix that makes prepping onions quick and tear-free. For more contents like this, click here to subscribe.